What's up, everybody? In this video, we're ranking every squad mate from every Mass Effect game. It's been a while since we've done a tier list on the channel. The last one was last year, I think. Y'all should check out that video after this one. We're on the road to 1,000 subs, guys, and we're getting so close. If y'all could subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate it. And I hope you enjoy the content while you're here. Let's not waste any more time and let's get into this. Okay, first we got Dr. Amanda Kenson. I don't know if I should put her in the C tier or the D tier. I think she's gotta go in the D tier because she ends up turning on you halfway through the Arrival DLC. You know that's where we meet her at. Hackett will ask us to rescue her from Artot. She got arrested by the Batarians because she was doing some shady looking things. And they were right to arrest her because she was trying to launch an asteroid into the mass relay. Now, it's for, which you could say, a good reason because the Reapers were about to come through that relay. She has an artifact that was telling her when this was going to happen. So we rescue her and she takes us back to her station, where we get to see this Reaper artifact. Now, there's red flags all over the place because the artifact was out in the open and everyone was indoctrinated, of course. So we end up having to kill everybody, and because the Reapers were on the way, we had to launch that asteroid into the relay ourselves and kill about 200,000 to 300,000 Batarians. So for all that, I think she is D tier. We end up getting arrested because of that. So yeah. Okay, Ashley. I think I'm gonna put her in the B tier. Ashley is a good character to me. She's got her flaws, of course. We have her for Mass Effects 1 and 3. We don't get her in Mass Effect 2 because, we're working for Cerberus. She doesn't trust Cerberus, which I completely understand. But the way she goes about it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. But the way she was kind of talking to Shepard rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. So, the one thing I say about Ashley is that she is very loyal, as long as she trusts Shepard. Things got a little dicey between them. Y'all remember during the Citadel coup when y'all remember during the coup when her and Shepard were holding each other at gunpoint. You have to convince her to stand down and to trust you about Udina. But Ashley is she's also kind of funny. You remember when she got pissed drunk, she was curled up on the floor. I think she drank a little too much Don Julio, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I think B is an appropriate place for Ashley. Okay, up next we got Edie, and Edie is going to go right behind Ashley. Edie is a good character. She's technically in all three games. She was the Luna VI in Mass Effect 1, she was our ship assistant in Mass Effect 2, and she can become a full squad mate in Mass Effect 3 after she gets Dr. Eva's body, her replacement. She is a very important part of the Leviathan DLC in Cerberus HQ. For the DLC, she helps us track down Leviathan. But for Cerberus HQ, she's very important there because she can access Cerberus systems. But even without that body, she was doing a lot of things for us. She saved Joker and the Normandy from the Collectors. And she kept Cerberus from taking back the Normandy in Mass Effect 3 by pretty much messing with them. So yeah, Edie, very good character. Okay, next we got Commander Shepard, FemShep. You already know where they're going, S tier. And I scanned this before I started making the video, so male Shep is also going to go in the S tier. No words necessary there. Okay, Grunt. Grunty is going to go in front of Ashley here. I like Grunt a lot. He's pretty much this giant ball of rage in Mass Effect 2 that you can point at the Reapers and the Collectors. And I did like his loyalty mission. I really want to take out Uvank. He was doing the most. But Grunt really comes up in the world. In Mass Effect 3, he's leading an Arwant company. He's the one that helps us deal with the Rachni or the Ravengers. And the way he took them on, it made it out. If you don't let Grunt out of his tank, or if you don't play Mass Effect 2 and go straight to Mass Effect 3, you get Dag, and Dag doesn't make it. So yeah, Grunt, really tough dude. Also, he is funny in the DLC. No, he ends up getting himself arrested. He's basically a teenage Krogan, so he was doing teenage things. And he can also play doorman, you know, when the party's going down. So yeah, Grunt. Good character. Alright, Jack. Miss Jacqueline Knott. I don't know whether to put Jack as a B tier character or an A tier. You know what? I have a soft spot for Jack. She's gonna go in the A tier. As we all know, Jack was crazy as hell in Mass Effect 2. She had her unresolved issues. She pretty much was a child slave, you know, for Cerberus. They experimented on kids trying to create, which actually benefited Jack because she became one of the most powerful biotics of her generation. Jack has a really nice come-up story as well. In Mass Effect 3, you know, she's an instructor at Grissom Academy, and seeing the way she interacts with those kids is very heartwarming. Not to mention her interactions with Miranda are funny, especially at the party in 3. But yeah, Jack is a really good character. She overcame a lot. Okay, next we got Jacob. Mr. Jacob Taylor. Jacob's gonna go in the C tier. Jacob is a stabilizing element. He's basically your Kaidan replacement in Mass Effect 2. Not much to Jacob, really. His interactions with Thane are kind of interesting. He doesn't really like assassins, and Thane kind of just brushes him off for the most part. He does have one of the most interesting loyalty missions, though. You know, helping him try to find his dad, you know, he's been helping us out, so don't really mind that. But his dad was doing some really messed up stuff there. Mr. Ronald Taylor was trying to have him a harem, and it backfired on him tremendously. But yeah, Jacob, decent squad mate. I don't mind him. Okay, next we got Mr. James Vega. James is also gonna go into the C tier. I don't really interact with James that much. I think he's just alright. He's pretty much your Krogan replacement in 3. He's your powerhouse. I did find it cool he was trying to become an N7. You know, he got the recommendation. So yeah, I say go for it. We need more people in the ranks. But yeah. James reminds me of those dudes who probably hangs out at the boardwalk, you know, in like Southern Cali or something like that. Alright, next we got Javik. And Javik is going to go in the B tier. He's a solid B. Javik is a bit abrasive. He does not mince words with you, especially Liara. And I think a lot of reason for that is that, you know, both the Protheans and the Asari are the apex races of their generation, you know, of their cycle. I would like to think that the Asari are kind of considered the apex races, especially thanks to that Prothean beacon that they got. But yeah, I think that leads to a lot of tension between them. You know, Liara actually is pretty nice to him, but Javik's just not having it. And then finally Liara has enough, and you have to calm her down. But yeah, I like Javik because his moveset is very interesting. Dark Channel is one of my favorite abilities, and he has really cool weapons. So yeah, solid B. Okay, next we got Jenkins. I don't want to put Jenkins in the D tier. I'm gonna put him in C tier. He might be in the back of C tier. You know, we don't get Jenkins that much. He was in Mass Effect 1. He got shredded pretty early. He got tore up by some Geth Recon drones. And I guess the personality of Jenkins is that he's pretty much an energetic upstart soldier. You know, he wants to prove himself. And, you know, you kind of wish he got the opportunity to do so. But yeah, because, you know, you don't really get to interact with him much, and he dies pretty early on, I can't put him higher than this. But he's a decent dude, so I don't want to put him in the D tier either. Okay, next we got Kaidan. I'm gonna put Kaidan in the B tier. Because there's not really that much different from him and Ashley. I mean, their personalities are different, but the way their roles are in Mass Effects, the Mass Effect trilogy is pretty much the same. You know, you get them from Mass Effect 1. He can be in Mass Effect 2 and 3. You know, you get a choice between whether, you know, you want to leave behind Ashley or Kaidan. You know, like how I explained when we was talking about Jacob. You want guys like him on your squad because he's really level-headed. He doesn't really get too emotional, which is the contrast between him and Ashley. So yeah, really solid dude. Alright, up next we got Kasumi. And I'm gonna put Kasumi, I don't know where to put her, in the A tier or the B tier. You know what? I'm gonna put her right here. I like Kasumi a lot. Kasumi keeps things interesting no matter where she's at. Kasumi is a thief, is all she knows. It's a shame the way her man died though, but it was nice helping her get revenge on Donovan Hawk for that. This was all Mass Effect 2, but in Mass Effect 3 we meet her again where she helps us take down this NR ambassador who was indoctrinated and was about to doom Kage to the Reapers. And her and Shepard's interaction was funny. She really was not trying to go with us again. You know, we went on a whole suicide mission. I think that's why a lot of them split after that. Why would they want to team up with us again after going through all that crap? But she does stick around to help with the Crucible. And at the Citadel DLC, she was just doing the most. She was looking in our underwear drawer. Just invisible the entire time. Only time she would really pop up is when something funny was going on. So yeah, Kasumi, really fun character. Good squad mate. Really good person to have in your pocket. Okay, next we got Legion. And Legion, I think it's gotta be A tier because he's a very important character in the series. You know, in Mass Effect 1 we didn't know much about the Geth outside of the fact that they were working with Saren and Sovereign. But in Mass Effect 2 we got a deeper look into the Geth, and a lot of that was thanks to Legion. You know, the tension between the Geth and Quarians is at a all-time high at this point. Quarians want their world back. The Geth are trying to keep them away because the Quarians always attack them because they want their world back. It's just a hot mess. But a lot of that gets resolved in Mass Effect 3. You have a choice of either killing off the Quarians, killing off the Geth, or managing to broker peace between them. If you can broker peace between them, you can also free the Geth from Reaper control. So yeah, but the sad thing about that is that Legion dies, I think, no matter which one you choose. So Legion becomes a martyr for the Geth, and he'll live on in history that way, and I think among the Quarians too if you can broker peace between them. So yeah, Legion, very important character, very important squad mate. Okay, next we got Liara, and y'all already know Liara's going in the S tier. We get Liara technically for all three games. She's not in Mass Effect too much. She's real good the DLC. You know, she's hunting down the Shadow Broker and all that. But Liara is probably the character. She's pretty much our Liara is pretty much our right-hand woman for most of the series. Especially in Mass Effect 3, you know, after we get locked up for the whole relay thing. She was the one that was helping try to find a way to stop the Reapers. You know, she was working with Hackett on that. And the fact she took that responsibility upon herself is very respectable. She also comes a long way in terms of personality. You know, she's kind of naive to the world in Mass Effect 1. But the things that happen between Mass Effect 1 and 2 hearten her a bit. And she mellows out a lot in Mass Effect 3, but she's become a lot more reclusive because she becomes the Shadow Broker and all that. But yeah, we are a really good character. She's also one of the best characters to have in your squad because while she can't take a lot of hits, she's probably the best support character because of Singularity. You know, she can create a botted field that traps enemies, and then you can piggyback off that with certain abilities. So yeah, really great character. An iconic character. Okay, next we got Aria. Aria T'Loak. Aria is gonna go in the B tier. You know, we meet Aria in Mass Effect 2. She is the ruler of Omega, the boss of Omega. Nothing goes down on that station without her knowing. And if you try to screw her over, her and her crew will screw you over royally. But yeah, what makes Aria a good squad mate is that she's one of the most powerful people in the original trilogy. You don't get her for long, but her impact is felt. Flare is an OP ability, and if you pair that with something like, I don't know, Singularity, it pretty much acts as a screen nuke. Her and Shepard's relationship is interesting. It's more of a business relationship. They could be friendly with one another, but you can soften Aria actually. And she actually becomes a little bit more pleasant towards everyone. Alright, next we got Nyreen. And I gotta put Nyreen in the C tier because we don't get a lot of her. We mainly only get her for the Omega DLC, but what I really like about Nyreen is her sense of duty. You know, after Arya was ousted from Omega, I should have mentioned this when I was talking about Arya, but you know the reason we go back to Omega is to help liberate the station from Cerberus and Electra. I should have mentioned this when I was talking about Arya, but you know the reason we go back to Omega is to liberate the station from Oleg Tarkovsky and Cerberus. But while Arya was gone, Nyreen was holding it down, her and her faction, the Talons. She took over that gang and she pretty much turned them into a lean, mean fighting machine. She gave them direction. But when you talk about Nyreen, there's a little bit of tragedy because she sacrifices herself to save some citizens from the adjutants, you know, the Reapers that Cerberus were working on. So because of that, I can't put her any higher. But Nyreen, she was a really good woman. She was also Arya's ex-girlfriend. You could feel the tension between them. But when Nyreen died, Arya went off. Okay, Miranda Lawson. I don't know whether to put her in the B tier or the A tier. You know what? I gotta give Miranda an A tier position because she was a good squad mate and a good character on top of that. You know, we meet her in Mass Effect 2. She's a bit of an ice witch, a little bitchy. She can soften up a bit. But she was the one that brought us back to life. Also to mention, that's also another reason Liara is an S tier character. She got our body to Miranda in Cerberus. But yeah, Miranda can soften up a little bit as she hangs around Shepard. Especially after you help her protect her sister from their controlling father. And at the end of Mass Effect 2, you know, the final mission, she can actually turn on the Elusive Man. I mean, that's the reason she's in hiding in Mass Effect 3. The Elusive Man has put out hit lists on everyone who's done affected for Cerberus. Part of the reason I think is due to the indoctrination. But you know, she was reworking in the background a lot in Mass Effect 3. Because her father actually managed to get to her sister Oriana. And that comes to a head on Horizon. She decided to deal with that in her own way. But I think for the fact that she brought us back to life and she acted as sort of what Liara would become in Mass Effect 3. You know, she was our right-hand woman in Mass Effect 2. I think she deserves an A tier position. Okay, next we got Anderson. And this one is kind of hard because Anderson is one of the best characters in the series, but we only get him for one mission, and I think because of that, I have to put him in C tier alongside Nyreen. Anderson is Shepard's mentor, but it becomes more of like a father to son-daughter relationship. It's kind of like that already when we meet them in Mass Effect 1, but Anderson has your back throughout all 3 games. He could punch out Udina for you when you know him and Council lock down Normandy. In Mass Effect 2, he can keep the Council off of your back if you choose him to be the ambassador over Udina. And in Mass Effect 3, he holds it down on Earth, you know, leading a resistance against the Reapers. Alright, next we got Mordin. Dr. Morton Solus. I think for the same reasons as Legion, Mordin has got to go in the A tier because he's a very important character in the original trilogy, really in the entire series. But we meet more in Mass Effect 2. You know, he's running a clinic in the quarantine zone on Omega. You know, a lot of people don't come down with a plague. That actually was the work of the Collectors, and the dang Vorcha were distributing the thing. Mordin is an excellent scientist. He finds a way to protect us from the Seeker Swarms in Mass Effect 2, so we could get to the Collector HQ and take that place out. And in Mass Effect 3, he's the one that tells Rex about the females that were taken from Tuchanka, you know, the ones that Maywin were working on. And then he actually finds a cure for the genophage. Mordin is a legend, and I think for that, he should get an A tier spot. Okay, we got more of here. And y'all already know what I'm thinking, right? D tier all the way. No way I'm allowing that psychopath into my squad. And if you're so curious and decide to have sex with her, I don't know why you would do that, but she could end up killing you. So, D tier. Ain't no way. Now, her mother, on the other hand, Samara, is a solid B tier character. Samara is like the auntie or the grandma of the group. She's an Asari Justicar, an Asari monk. She has a strong sense of duty. The thing with Justicars are that they have a strong sense of justice, and if they sniff corruption, they will snuff it out with the utmost efficiency. It's why the people on Ilium were chafing, because corruption is everywhere on that world. And Samara wouldn't hesitate to put them all on a t-shirt. But the oath she swears to you in Mass Effect 2, that really just signals her sense of duty and loyalty. And then you can repay that loyalty in Mass Effect 3 by helping her get to her daughters. We were only able to save one of them. The other one was on her way to becoming a Banshee. And then, more often than not, you probably killed Morinth, so Valera's the only one left standing. But Samara, really good squad mate, really good woman. Okay, next we got the writers, Scott and Sarah. We're gonna put the writers in the A tier because I don't like them much as the Shepherds. Now, the one thing I like about the writers that you don't get with the Shepherds is that because they're siblings, they both can be part of the main story. And I thought that was very cool. Okay, y'all. Next we got Cora, and I'll put Cora behind Caden in the B tier. I don't mind Cora. I don't like how she was hating on us at first, which I kind of get because she was supposed to be next to get the Pathfinder role after Alec Ryder. But it was given to their son or daughter instead. Now, I can understand why Cora didn't get it, because Cora lacks ambition, she lacks drive. But once she gets over that, she settles in as our main woman. She settles in as our second in command. And that's where she really shines. Plus, I do kind of like her as a romance as well. I'm not really counting that towards her ranking here, but I find Cora to be decent. Okay, next we got Drac. Drac is going to go next to Grunt. Drac is the cool grandpa of the Andromeda gang. I really don't have a lot to say about Drac. Like I said, he's just that cool grandpa character. Has some really fun missions. It was nice taking down Spender and getting the seed vault back for the Krogan. I think they really need that for reproduction purposes. Just a really solid character. Now, Jaal I can talk about a bit more. Jaal, I think, is going to go into the A tier because he's a really important character in Andromeda. Like Legion, he is our insight into the Angara. He comes with us for that reason. His loyalty mission was awesome, helping the Rokar come to their senses. His loyalty mission was really good, helping the Rokar come to their senses. Family is really important in Angara society, and it made him very relatable in that regard. Up next, we got Liam. And I really don't have much to say about Liam either. One thing I like about Liam is he's very ambitious, although the ambition gets him in trouble after a while. But he's a really chill guy. Okay, next we got PB. Pericelia Basale. PB is going to go right behind Jaal in the A tier. And I love PB. PB is our Remnant expert. I like her personality. It's very energetic and bubbly. Although some of that is a bit of a cover for some issues she's dealing with. But she's kind of like that to the point where the one time you really see her pissed off, it's kind of off-putting. Her relationship with Lexi, the ship's doctor, is kind of reminiscent of Jack and Miranda's. Like, what she says to Lexi really put her in her feelings. But yeah, love PB. Really great character. Alright, next we got Vetra. And I'ma put Vetra in the B tier, right between Arya and Javik. One thing about Tyrians is they know how to get things done. Vetra is one of those people and then some. Like, if you need supplies, she knows where to get them from. Like, her and Drac be doing runs together. But I really like Vetra's relationship with her sister Sid. Vetra is very overprotective of Sid because their father wasn't really in the picture, so Vetra became that parental figure. It's believed that their father was actually Saren, but it's just a theory. And because Vetra does a lot of gray area things. Things that, if you mess with the wrong person, can get you in trouble. And it's kind of funny because Vetra's loyalty mission actually revolves around that very thing. Sid was calling in favors on Vetra's name, and it ruffled the feathers of a mercenary named Merryweather, who ends up trapping Ryder and Vetra and whoever you bring along with them. And for some reason, Sid decides it was a good idea to take herself out there and ends up getting captured by Merryweather. Which, at the end of the day, I don't know if it really brought them closer together. I think Sid's got a better understanding of what Vetra does, and I think Vetra learns to ease up just a tiny bit. So yeah, Vetra, solid character. Up next, we got Thane, and I think I'm gonna put Thane between Ashley and Samara. Thane is a really good character. Kind of a tragic one. He comes along, on a suicide mission in Mass Effect 2. But the sad thing about it is that Thane is dying. He has Keppel syndrome. His blood cells can't retain oxygen that well. Any blood he loses puts him closer to death. And he's already marching closer to death's door as it is. So the fact that he was willing to do that for us can never really repay that. The most we could do was help him, with the issues with his son. His son was trying to become an assassin kind of to get closer to Thane. And Koyat is very lucky we were able to get him off pretty light. Now come Mass Effect 3, Thane is very sick at this point. He's still active enough to teach, therapy classes and stuff like that, but he has to remain in the hospital where he can get constant medical care. But, during the Citadel coup, Thane had to move because things were going on. And he ended up fighting Kai Lang and getting mortally wounded and died not too long after that. But I guess if there's any way to go out, it's going out a hero. So rest in peace, Thane. Okay, next is Tali Zora. And come on, Tali is an S tier character. Tali is the second longest tenured squadmate behind Garrus. She's in all 3 games. I think the best quality to Tali is her loyalty to her people and to Shepard. Of course her people will come first, but after she's done handling Corian business, she's free to help Shepard out with whatever they got going on. I'm saying that like a Reaper invasion is not a big deal. But I also like Tali's personality. She's kind of like that nerdy engineer type. And she really came a long way, like a lot of these characters did. We meet her in Mass Effect 1, she was on her pilgrimage. But come Mass Effect 3, she's a whole admiral. So yeah, Tali, really great character. Really great romance too. Alright, next we got Wilson. And Wilson, you belong in this tier. Why is Wilson here? Well, we meet him in Mass Effect 2. But Wilson is a snake. He betrayed Cerberus, and by extension us. Wilson was looking for any opportunity to take us out. He was really after Miranda, but if Jacob or Shepard left their guard down, I'm sure Wilson probably would have tried something. And he got his just desserts at the end when Miranda capped him. Now, why did he do all this? He was having problems with Miranda. I think he got tired of how Miranda was treating him and he finally snapped. But yeah, he definitely belongs in the D tier. Okay, next we got Rex. And I don't know whether to put Rex in the S tier or put him down in the A tier. I think he has to be in the S tier because he's an iconic character. He's an iconic squadmate. We only get Rex for Mass Effect 1 and for the Citadel DLC in Mass Effect 3. Reason for that is that after Mass Effect 1, he goes back to Tuchanka, where he becomes ruler of the planet. However, that does depend on your choice on Virmire. If you choose the Renegade option, you end up killing Rex, and none of this ever happens. His brother takes over. But if you chose to work it out with Rex, he never forgets what you did for him and his people. So Shepard becomes family for life. And Rex is very unique among squadmates because he's the only Krogan. And Rex is very unique among the Krogan squadmates because he's the only one that's part biotic. And Rex is very unique among the Krogan squadmates because he's the only one who's a biotic. Most Battle Masters are biotic, by the way. But yeah, Rex, legendary character, legendary squad mate, family for life. Okay, last week we got Zaid Masadi. Zaid is going to go probably right with Jacob in the C tier. Now, I think Zaid is a decent character. I don't find him particularly interesting. I do think he has a kind of a sad backstory though. You know, Zaid was the founder of the Blue Suns. He was a co-founder alongside Vito Santiago. However, Vito betrayed him, and Zaid had been hunting his ass ever since. So that leads to the mission on Zoria, where you actually manage to track him down. Now, that mission can go one of two ways. Either Vito gets away, or you save the people in the refinery that you're at because Zaid decided to pull the place up. But Vito gets his nonetheless, regardless of which way you choose. It's just, if you go after him immediately, you get to see him die. But in Mass Effect 3, we meet Zaid again, where he took a mercenary job to hunt down Dan Korlak. Korlak was rumored to be working for Cerberus. He actually was working for Cerberus, but he turned on Cerberus because Cerberus was doing the most. You know, after the coup, he was like, man, forget this, y'all doing too much. But by that point, there was already a price on his head. Now, once Din with Zaid know that Shepard's on the case, Zaid will take out the other mercs in the room and save Din. But yeah, Zaid, decent squad mate. It always helps to have a grizzled veteran on your team. But that's it, y'all. We've ranked every Mass Effect squad mate. I want to thank y'all for watching. Is there anyone here that y'all would have ranked differently? Let me know in the comments. But also feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.
DJ Sonic Freak.